Hello there, everyone. It's Sam and Grainne here from the Eden Project, and we are on episode 3 of our 6 series episodes on building community series, Hopes, Hearts and Headaches. So talking about all the challenges, but all of the hopeful solutions and ideas that we've heard from people as well. So this one today is around recruiting help, the idea of where on earth is everyone, when we want to bring people in around our community ideas and activities. So we're here discussing what the challenges are around that and what ideas that we've heard people talk about to bring to you today. So Grainne, we know that resilient communities really rely on people taking part and getting involved where they live. It's what makes our communities thrive and go round, isn't it? But we also know that the idea of volunteering or getting involved has declined over the past few years. So I'm just wondering what is it that you're seeing in terms of the barriers that people are telling us are the barriers for getting people involved in their activities?
Well, I would say, first of all, kind of going back to what you're saying about resilient communities and how they're, made up of groups of people coming together and getting things done. And I would say that word community, says that itself. I always kind of try and bring this in to say, like, that word is really special, in the sense that it has the word unity in it. And I think a resilient community unifies and it works. People work together, people come together, there is connection. And I think that is one of the most important things to remember when you're trying to get something done or you're trying to achieve something that you think might be out of reach, is to recognize that it doesn't need to be just all on your shoulders, that, working together and connecting with other people will achieve more. And I think that we often do go, right, we need to get people, we need to get volunteers, we need to get cleaners, we need to find somebody to be on our committee. We need a person to fill this gap that exists here, this hole. And actually, what we probably need to do is take a step backwards and think, well, what is it that we're doing that we could do differently? And is there a different way of making this work that is easier for to enable somebody else to feel part of this existence? And I think on things like the big lunch and, certainly this year with the help out as well, it's not just about getting people to come and help you do that. I think they are great opportunities to create more resilience in your community, in your group, in your neighborhood, by the very fact of having an opportunity there and then to reach out to new people and take the time to talk and share and proactively see if people are interested in coming in, not just for that one event, but for the whole year and onwards. Is that the answer?
Well, sometimes those one events can be the beginning, because everybody needs a small step, don't they? That sort of that hook to bring them in. And I do think that some of the barriers that people do face is around that commitment that, oh, if I now say that I will do this, that means I am doing that every Saturday for the rest of my life. And that's not realistic for a lot of people. And so I think having that hook of, can you bring a table to the big lunch? It's a really small step, low commitment, and it lowers that sort of barrier really to people getting involved. And I think what also you're talking about there is around, do we need to be really concrete in the activity that we're trying to deliver, or is there space for somebody to bring in their skill and what they want to bring? So, in the example of a big lunch, if there's a guitar player, can they come and play that guitar? So talking to people really openly about what brings them joy and how can they make that into the activity as well.
And also being more aware of the fact that things don't have to be done entirely how you see them, and if you're willing to be a little bit more flexible in kind of what you see the end thing being, then it's more likely that you're going to interest more people in being involved. And I say to people as well, like more doing things like hosting an event, like for instance, if you want people to help you do something, like maybe you want to be involved and have a help out this year, and you might want to, you might want to get people in to paint your community centre, just say. Well, it might be also an opportunity to have people come in and see some of the work that goes on in your community centre, right, to give them a purpose for doing that, for spending that day, which is maybe their only day in the week off, because we don't all work 9 to 5 jobs anymore. Like we don't, and it makes it much harder for people to volunteer their time ongoing on a regular basis, and ongoing. Whereas if you're asking them to come and be helpful for a specific day, but then show some of the things that are needed and also some of the stuff that's been achieved, it gives somebody a sense of belonging and purpose, and maybe also a bit of motivation to come on and do more with you too. But even if they don't, you've still achieved something amazing that day, So that's kind of the way I look at it. I always think, like, how can you motivate people to be more involved and sometimes even just turn up to something? And I think a great way of doing that is to involve some of the local community groups that already exist and inviting them to be part of it. It's an island. So if you're having an event, maybe you could invite the local gymnastics group to do a wee display for half an hour. And then that means all their mummies and daddies are going to come too, or you might decide, as you say, to have like a local, I don't know, ukulele group, invite them to come. And then, my God, you've already got a party then, haven't you? They're always massive. You better have plenty of tea.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've picked out one of the challenges there is around how somebody from the outside feels that they fit that space, because if a group is already established and they've been going for years, or they've been running the same event for years and it's really well known, it's really quite difficult for somebody from the outside to see where they could help, because it's already very well formed. And so there is something around just not being perfect as well, and kind of being open about that, so that people can feel, if you've got, I don't know, a broken door in your community centre or something, you might well be able to fix it, but it's really nice to be able to go, we've got this problem, can anybody fix it, in order to reach out to all the skills and to help people to see where they can help.
Yeah,
that purpose. You talked about
people
purpose.
volunteering like that with their skills, that's so valuable. But it isn't just, as you say, about the ability to do the thing. It's also the new energy that you bring in as a new person as well. Like, I think volunteers always bring great energy into an organisation.
And you also touched upon there around like not focusing on the event itself, but what can happen before it. So we know that people that hold big lunches, as an example, will try and invite their neighbours in to do things before the event, so that it reduces that anxiety for people to come along on the day. So I know that there's a group in Scotland who want to get people together on the street to paint the pallets up to make the street look lovely before the day. And before now, I've dropped pieces of bunting through my neighbours' doors and asked them to decorate it to bring along to the day as well. And we've also seen people like set up WhatsApp groups and things in order to organise bringing the tables, bringing the chairs, bringing the cutlery. Have you got any other examples where you are? Yeah.
Gosh, you went all Dalek on me there. There's been, I think there's those kind of examples are really strong. I think it's also kind of about how you kind of be welcoming. And so, like, at that very basic level, if you're organising something like a street meet or a big lunch on your street, is to organise like a pre-meet planning day or evening, a couple of hours, maybe have like, a bit of cake and tea, and invite some of the neighbours if they're interested to come along to help you plan it, because it's your party unless you involve other people on the street in creating it. And so you're going to have that nervousness about whether somebody's going to turn up. And that goes the same for like the likes of if you want to do something off the cuff in your community, like litter pick. It's far better to organise and approach a couple of people or get a wee group of people together to chat about it beforehand, to help organise it and take some ownership with you, because things just get done better when they're done together.
Yeah, and when you think about what actually motivates people, I did one of these recorded conversations with a lady called Jude last year, and I'll put the link into the chat about that as well. And she was a serial volunteer for all kinds of groups. In fact, she wouldn't use the word volunteer, she would just say lending a hand. So do you think that the word like volunteer is sometimes a put off for people too?
I've heard that said in a few different places. I think there's a lot of power in that word as well. I think maybe the thing that is putting people off is the sense of commitment in today's society when we've all got like 3 jobs to get done in the week. And I think that perhaps post-COVID, and this is just my own view, is maybe some of those who were doing more volunteering felt a chance or an opportunity to step back a little bit, just because there was that one opening, and then that left a gap, and perhaps it's taken a little bit of time for those gaps to be filled. It doesn't mean to say that they won't be. So yeah, maybe the word can sometimes be off-putting, but like helping out is essentially what volunteering is doing. You're lending a hand, you're helping out, and like maybe that's where the help out comes in a little bit more, where people can just have a little taste of what it feels like to give your time to somebody else with no commitments, and decide, that I like that, would I like to do more of that, where would I be able to add most value. But even if that one day means that the whole community just came together and had a lovely day connecting with each other and getting good stuff done, well, like that's good enough for me.
Completely agree, because that was the other thing that Jude talked about in that interview, was how important it was. A motivating factor for her was fun, because you need it to feel celebratory, because nobody's going to want to go to something that just, that doesn't suit them and just feels a little bit, I don't know, a little bit, unfun, for want of a better word, because people are joining because they want to be able to help and they want to be able to connect with other people, aren't they? So that importance of taking fun seriously, I guess, is an important takeaway as well.
Yeah. And maybe people are not really thinking beyond that word commitment. Maybe it's not the word volunteer, maybe it's more the commitment that goes with that word. And I think that actually, if you take that kind of urgency or that concern away, then you're more likely to see all of the benefits for yourself, because actually when you do anything and lean in your community, you get so much more back from it than you give. Like I can't think of any time that I have volunteered that I haven't got more back from it.
Oh, completely. We know, don't we, that people tell us all the time around the increasing confidence that they get, the skills that they've built, that stronger sense of belonging to where they live, sort of outweighs any of the worries that they had before joining.
But you also learn from people. Like, you learn new stuff about parts of you that you didn't know about, but also you learn ways of handling things. And like even volunteer management, like that's not the same as managing staff. A volunteer turns up because they want to, and a member of staff turns up because they have to. That's the honesty, isn't it? And I think those days like the big lunch, when the doors open and people come out and they come and talk because they want to, like that's beautiful. When people get together and they help out together in their community because they want to, like afterwards, there's nothing more powerful than knowing that you did that and you achieved that, and you didn't go looking for somebody else to make it happen for you, that you took that power over. What was the word that we were looking for, earlier when we were talking about
agency?
You have some agency, and you don't feel so put upon, because these days, everything in the news can be negative, and you just feel like all of your agency is being taken away and like the future looks bleak. But actually we can do little steps, we can do little things, and when we do them and we help each other, I think we make a big difference.
Yeah, and that's really, bringing this to a sort of close now, that's really what the Big Help Out and Big Lunch weekend is about, isn't it? It's about trying to harness that willingness, but in a really small step way, in order to create that local community action, or that agency that you talk about. And it has some energy around the weekends, so brings in that celebration as well. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, really. People love to be part of something bigger, don't they? And that weekend might just help that too.
Yeah, like I think when you sum it up, it's about individuals stepping forward, having the permission to step forward and try something, to bring everybody together to achieve something that they want to happen, no matter how small that is, whether it is just to have a cup of tea and a cake together, or whether you want to do something more. Like it's just being able to do it, that doing. I think that's the powerful thing that we're trying to achieve with this weekend. And it might be that you're already a group, but you want to get something else done. It might be that you want to reach people with a message or something, a cause that you care about. Or it might just be that you'd like the rest of the neighbours in the street to know as many neighbours as you know, because you can see that the benefit it's had for you. The more friendly people are in the world, I think the better the community is.
And there are more friendly people in the world than what we think, or we're led to believe.
Oh my goodness, like our communities are so strong. It just takes, for us to put, I don't know, to shine the light on that. We just need, we need the people who know how lovely their areas are to shine a light on them. I can't wait to be shining lights on all these communities this year. Really can't. I'm looking forward to all the doing.
Completely agree. Well, yeah, thank you, Grainne. It's been really reassuring to know, I think, that those challenges are shared by so many, and by us talking about it, it can just, cut out that anxiety and that barrier, just by being aware that sense of understanding of what we're trying to do and the challenges to that, but also that there are lots of approaches to practical ways to overcoming that as well. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the next episode.